As a parent, I am in search for an ideal preschool for my daughter, but was not warned on the daunting challenge. I've often heard parents or future parents claim that Chicago public preschools have too many issues, and therefore resulting in their decision to avoid Chicago public preschools altogether. Many parents instead choose to pay a tuition fee between $1,000 to $14,000 in order to avoid the system altogether. The lack of funding and teacher quality has ultimately affected benefits for children and parents alike, therefore resulting in an enrollment decrease for Chicago public school systems. Robert Chanik states in his article titled "Public Schools Loss May Be Private Schools Gain," states that budget shortfalls, program cuts, and estimates of up to 20,000 teacher layoffs from recession-battered Illinois public schools. A growing number of families are looking at another option, paying $5,000 to $25,000 in tuition to enroll their child in a private and parochial schools. Chicago public elementary schools, which contain preschools, have suffered greatly and will continue to suffer due to the $370 billion deficit. The deficit was based upon the governor's proposed budget plan even after chipping away at an initial projection of a $1 billion deficit. This budget deficit was led to more budget cuts for after-school programs, staff, and teachers. Considering the harsh economic times, the state was unable to pay Chicago public schools, owing the Chicago public school system a total of $236 million in late payments for the year 2010. The Chicago public school system states that because of the late payments and the budget crisis in Illinois, that the Chicago public schools funds will not be balanced until approximately 2012. Ron Huberman, the chief executive officer of the Chicago Public Schools, states in a letter sent September 10, 2010, continued delay in payments by the state puts incredible pressure on the district's cash flow and causes depletion in the general fund balance. It has become a harsh realization that the funding gap will only increase in the upcoming years if the budget crisis continues. Due to these budget shortfalls, reduced after-school programs as well as enrichment programs are still at risk. Many working and caring parents look for programs such as those mentioned in order to enhance their child's learning or even allowing them extra time to pick up their child from school, rather than using other alternatives. Chicago Public Schools is the nation's third largest school district, serving approximately 400,000 students yearly, and home to many low-income families. Research found that low-income students are more likely to have teachers who are not certified and who are teaching subjects they did not study in college. Teacher quality is of the utmost importance when it comes to a child's learning. It is in preschool that we learn how to become independent as well as learning to share with others. For most of us, it was the basis to our education. It is important that teachers are reliable, caring, supportive, and knowledgeable individuals. In Chicago Public Schools, many teachers have been rated satisfactory, even though many of the schools are not reaching the state standards. During 2007 to 2008, 91% of Chicago Public School teachers were rated satisfactory, although 66% of Chicago Public Schools failed to meet state standards. 48% of elementary schools which obtained preschools scored a letter grade D based on the records of the Chicago Public School system. Although this is the case, $52 million will be used for the Title II Improving Teacher Grant, which was awarded this year by the government to many Chicago public schools. The grant will be used for class reduction, training, recruitment, mentoring, and other support services to improve teacher quality. Budget cuts will only reduce these factors, forcing some teachers who may be very good at teaching out looking for new jobs. Good teachers are hard to find, but it seems as if evaluations as well as seniority seem to be of major importance. A research conducted and later exploited by the Joyce Foundation found that a good teacher has great communication skills. The research stated that people who score well on tests like the verbal section on the ACT consistently make good teachers. But in many school districts, the central office administrators do the initial screening and the interviewing, and tend not to look at such scores, but look at the amount of teaching jobs that an individual has worked in. Many positions are filled by teachers with seniority transferring from elsewhere, with little input from the principal. Oftentimes, many new teachers are placed in areas that they did not study for in college. If that is not the case, many Chicago public schools hire teachers at the beginning of the school year or during the summer, allowing the teacher little time to get to know their students, the school, or the principal. Evaluations of these teachers' performance contain little detail to differentiate between top performers and poor performers. Oftentimes, they do not relate performance to school goals. Research shows that students can make up as much as a year and a half's worth of progress if they had a good teacher. These exploited outcomes have led to many parents and future parents to avoid Chicago public preschools or Chicago public schools altogether. It was recently reported that in preschools, the enrollment in 2010 for Chicago public schools resulted in 24,247 students. But this year, for 2011, it has been projected that approximately 24,000 students will attend. The Chicago Public School Guide stated that one of the reasons for the projected decrease may be due to the transfer to or from public and non-public schools. Many parents are flocking to other alternatives, such as Montessori, private, parochial, or Park District preschools, rather than Chicago public preschools. Certain Montessori schools, such as Rogers Park Montessori School on the north side of Chicago, offers a program 5 days a week requiring parents to pay a yearly tuition of $13,000 with financial aid. Montessori schools target a child's learning ability in a different manner, allowing preschoolers to learn about things that interest them, as well as one-on-one guidance. Although the tuition is extremely high, many parents still manage to pay in order to provide their child with a great basis of learning skills. If Montessori schools were not of interest to some parents, then many families pay for their child to attend parochial schools, in which case many schools offer half-days and full days with after-school programs as well, for approximately $1,000 to $5,000 in tuition costs, many of which are programs that are not in need of financial help. Other alternatives even include park districts, such as River Park or Sauganash Park, in which children attend half of the day, obtaining a play-based learning structure. Like many other parents, I have also enrolled my child into the Park District preschool to help determine our next step in her education. Paying only a cost of $50 for her to attend, she is still occupied with reading, socializing, learning the alphabet or numbers, painting, and even playing with other children. She also has learned to be quite independent, and yet for me, it has only created a bond with a teacher that is very trustworthy and well-educated in early childhood education. I have seen my daughter learn to solidify her sentence structures, count past 20, as well as learning where each animal lives. I am not stating that Chicago public preschools or Chicago public schools in general are terrible in any way. It is just that the lack of funding and teacher quality has been exploited by a number of articles, and parents overall just do not seem as confident in Chicago public schools as they were before. It is just that new alternative statistics, options for children and parents alike in other schools, studies, and the harsh economic times has resulted in current and future parents to have a different perspective on Chicago public schools. Education starts from such an early age that it is everyone's issue because of the future of our society rests upon education to allow job opportunities to be fulfilled. Many parents are making the change and choosing to pay hundreds of dollars to have their child attend schools other than Chicago public preschools, to enhance their learning process and enable their child to get into a school that will allow greater opportunities.